afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you're in right now. It's the Audrey Wiggins Show. Coming up this week, former Bull turns...
Wait a minute. Wasn't that my line? Where's my script?
Script? I'm reading from the script? It's my line now, Audrey Michelle Wiggins.
Did he just say my whole name? Okay, Mr. Voice, OMG. You are lucky people are watching. People are watching, aren't they? Here's my script. I'm so excited about this week's show. But first, a few weather headlines. Looks like a major jet stream is bringing severe thunderstorms and possible tornadoes southwest across the U.S. towards the northeast. The BBC reported the UK experienced quite possibly the worst storm in years. Wind gusts from 80 to 120 miles per hour. 13 were reported dead throughout Western Europe. Even the Prime Minister tweeted about it. So plug into your favorite weather program for all the details. Rich, please share this week's guest lineup with us.
Indeed, Audrey. Our lineup this week. Former Chicago Bull turns mayor, Mr. Bradley Sellers leads the city of Warrensville Heights well into the 21st century. Cleveland State University head basketball coach Gary Waters has the bounce on what it takes to lead a collegiate team to success. And finally, Pastor Andru Kelly will educate and train the masses with his PhD program, Preserving Human Dignity. Stay tuned.
You are so awesome, Rich. Thank you. Who wrote this? Just kidding. Up next, Mike Jones, strong man of comedy.
Fly a lot. And you know what? I understand airport security had to get beefed up because of terror threats and things like that. But a couple months ago, I had to fly out to Vegas. They stopped me in the airport. They blew me off to the side. Naked in the airport. And that pissed me up. I said, the next time I fly, I'm going to help the airline out. I'm going to wear as less clothes as possible. I showed up. I had on some flip-flops, a tank top, and a thong. And I had the thong on backwards. Y'all want something?
Boy, I tell you, we're going to have to get Mike Jones his own show. I know I say that every week. I promise it's coming. Well, today we're going to start off with Pastor Andru Kelly from PhD Project, or Project PhD, Preserving Human Dignity. Pastor Kelly.
Audrey Wiggins. Oh my God. It's been 3 years in the making. Thank you so much for inviting me here today. Thank
Absolutely. You. It's awesome to have you here in flesh and blood.
It's about time,
no more
right?
Internet, no more texting, no more telephones.
No teleconference, right?
Right, no teleconference. No, we still have to have teleconference. We still have to have that. Well, Pastor Kelly, give us a brief background about yourself, and then we're going to go zero right in to the PhD project.
I'm pastor of One Church Worldwide Ministries, which is a teleconference ministry that started in 2010. We started with just 74 people on the telephone on a Monday night. 3 years later, we touched over 300,000 phone lines in the United States. We're now in the UK and the Netherlands and also in South Africa.
Yes.
So that teleconference ministry is what got all of this going. God was preparing. I didn't realize when he called me to do the teleconference ministry that it was all preparation work for this project that we're currently on, Project Preserving Human Dignity.
Okay, awesome. But tell us more about that and the mission. And there's a phrase that you have said it's a must, a blah blah. What is that phrase there?
It's a mission, it's a movement, it's a must. The country is really dying right now for something big, something explosive. As you notice with our Congress and Senate right now, we're at gridlock. Nothing is happening in our politics right now. There's a lot of people in the United States that are underemployed and unemployed. And what Project PhD is all about is getting people back to work, mostly in the urban, rural, and Appalachian areas of the country, because those were the portions of the country that was hit the hardest during the recession. Let me go back a minute and tell you how this all got started. I remember growing up, and there were many of my brothers and uncles and neighbors who left for Vietnam. And when they came home, I was a kid, so I didn't really understand what was going on. But they were acting a little different, a little peculiar, a little strange. They came home incomplete. Okay. And I remember thinking some years later, where is the church? You know, I was going to church every day, and we're talking about being good people and followers of Jesus Christ. But all of these people seemed to be displaced, and their mental capacities didn't seem to be up to par. And I always asked myself, where's the church? In the 80s and 90s, crack cocaine came through, and I'm sure you know here in Cleveland, it was devastating. Yes. In the 80s and 90s. And a lot of people, even professionals, even folks with massive educational backgrounds, lost their employment, lost their homes, lost their families, lost everything. Again, I asked myself the question, where's the church? 2000, terrorists explode 2 planes into the World Trade Center. The Enron scandal, Wall Street crash. Nobody goes to jail over this situation, but Dante gets caught with a gun at 16, and his life is messed up for the rest of his life. Yes. And I asked myself the question again, where is the church? And so finally, one night I'm praying, and the Spirit says, I've been giving you this question for a long time, and now it's time to take action. And the action is, once we give people back their dignity, it will cause communities to change. It will cause the church to change. It will cause families to come back together. So that's really where it's all comes from.
Okay, so that human dignity part, you're talking about our confidence, our faith, just restoring, believing in ourselves to be able to go out, because there are jobs available, but are we qualified? How do we interview for these jobs? Give us a little more detail of what does that picture look like, and how can we get involved?
Well, there's not enough jobs out there. We've lost the NAFTA free trade agreement back in the 80s, took a lot of jobs from the United States to Mexico and some other, Canada, Mexico. So we lost a lot of manufacturing jobs, which was the center stone for Cleveland. Back in the day, you had rubber, steel, you had all of these manufacturers that are gone now. And so even though these jobs have been replaced, they're being replaced with mostly service jobs, which don't pay very much. Remember back in the early days, a father could work in the plant, he could send his kids to school, could buy a home, could get new cars.
That's true.
Could put a little bit away. Well, those jobs are gone. So what we're saying is that it's not just bringing jobs, but they have to be good paying jobs. They have to be solid jobs. People's dignities, when you can put money away, when you can send your children to school, when you could, church has gotten real expensive now. You got the pew rally, the banquet, the pastor's anniversary, and everything else going on. You got to have money for church now, right? Right. And so we have to have jobs. And then too, when a lot of dads have removed themselves out of the family equation, especially if you go to PTA meetings around the country. There are very few dads that are there. There are very few parents that go anymore, but especially dads. And for a lot of dads that I talk to, especially those convicted felons, they don't want to go into the school system and talk to the teacher because they don't have to talk about their backgrounds. They don't want to have to explain that they can't get a decent job. And so there's so much hanging over their head that they just remove themselves from the equation, which when they do that, they're removing themselves from society, which we need them involved desperately.
We need to be able to build up the base of the people.
Absolutely. Project PhD, our base is the church. We're starting with the church. And what we're doing is we're asking pastors to bring their people into the fold in large numbers. As a matter of fact, we're approaching the national organizations to come in first because we actually have a residual program that benefits the church and it benefits one person from that organization, whether it be the pastor or someone the pastor appoints to work with us. And the way it works is we're asking our members for $10 a month to become a member. And what this gives you is a monthly newsletter, action alerts when we have to come together for quick meetings and what's going on and what's new. But the biggest portion of the money that we're raising is going towards our own lobbying firm. We can have all the representatives in the world, but we know the day after they get elected, they've got to start campaigning for the next election. And so they start negotiating away everything they told us when they came over to visit us on that Sunday morning at church. And so if you notice, the groups who get what they want in this country are the groups that have lobbying power.
Absolutely. It goes back to the little adage of the squeaky wheel
Absolutely.
gets the oil. So how can we get in touch with you then, or the organization? Where do we go? What's the website?
You can go to the website. It's www.projectphd.com. www.projectphd.com.
All right. Well, awesome then. Well, thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing this project absolutely explode. So definitely go to that website and check that out. And we'll be ready for our next guest after this message.
Are you a rising star? If you are, we are looking for you to showcase your talent as an author or independent music artist right here on the Audrey Wiggins Show. Please visit our website for details.
Coach Gary Waters, welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to be here.
Yes, I'm excited to have you here today. Coach Waters, you have won about 307 wins actually in 17 years as a head coach. Now tell us more about that.
Well, you know, as a coach, you get the opportunity to have a chance to win games, and you either lose or you win. And if you're starting to lose, you don't have 17 years of tenure.
Absolutely.
But if you get the right type of kids and you get into a situation where you got good people you're working for, you have a chance to win quite a few games.
Okay. Now it's been said that you coach, there's a certain set of principles that you use that have been like a perennial power in the Vikings at Cleveland State University.
Well, we come into our program, what we're trying to do is have a philosophy. And in our philosophy, we base it on about three things. And the first thing is how hard we work. You know, when I first came there, the first thing I said is we got to get everyone in the program working extremely, extremely hard. Secondly, we work on discipline. We want our people in our program to be disciplined. Now, I said people, I didn't say players, because you have an entire group of people you're working with, your coaches and everyone. You want them to be disciplined. And then we have what is called a family atmosphere.
Okay.
And when you have a family atmosphere, people care for one another, they work together, and they do a great job.
Coach, what about the All Horizon League, the players that you mentored?
Well, we've had some very successful players in our program. One has been Norris Cole, who's presently playing in the NBA. We had another player that's playing in the NBA, Cedric Jackson. We had a great player that played in the NFL. His name was Jonathan Bullock.
That's fantastic. Because we want to thank you again for bringing your Cleveland State Vikings to the Audrey Wiggins Show. An exciting season. We look forward to another successful season with you. Thanks again.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, awesome.
Fax machines are costly and, face it, a bit impractical when you're on the go. That's why you need fax through email. Fax through email lets you send and receive faxes anywhere, anytime, from any internet-connected device. You can even do it with any mobile device like your smartphone. All you need to send and receive faxes is an email account. No landline is needed. There are no activation or per fax fees for using fax through email. You simply pick a plan that suits your needs for one low price, and you can send and receive faxes from anywhere you can receive email. Don't forget that fax through email isn't just great for your business, it saves trees.
Well, welcome again to another webisode of the Audrey Wiggins Show. We're excited to be on location in the city of Warrensville Heights. We're speaking with the mayor, Mayor Bradley Sellers, and he's became the mayor in November of 2011. Now, Mr. Sellers, Mr. Mayor, thank you for having us here today and to learn more about the success and what's going on in the friendly city of Warrensville Heights.
Well, thank you, Audrey, for allowing me to be on your show, and my pleasure to be here, and I look forward to a good conversation.
Absolutely, and that's what it is. It's a conversation, just learning what's going on. Now, you were the first native resident to become the mayor. Now, tell us a little bit about that, the importance of that.
I just look at it like this. First, I'm fortunate to have grown up here in this city, and not just have grown up here, been nurtured by a bunch of folks, not only my parents, but other people in the community that took an interest in me early on and taught me really a sense of place. And I think that's helped me in all my travels. And so now I'm fortunate enough to come back home and be chosen to lead the city forward in the duration of time that I'm here.
Before becoming mayor, you were actually the director of economic development.
Correct.
And during that time, lots of things had gone on, new housing development, schools. Tell us something about that, Brad.
Well, I served as, I retired from professional basketball in 2000. And then former mayor, Marshall Fletcher, now the congressperson for this district,
Yes.
brought me on and gave me an opportunity to serve as on her economic development staff, and ultimately become the director of economic development here in the city. And I served here for 11 years, and got to do a lot of fantastic things with her, and we had some tremendous significant progress in the field of economic development for a number of years. And that continues today, and so it gave me a strong foothold into the things that I do today. So now I've been able to evolve and transition, and now I've got a bigger role here, which is just as time-consuming as the last, but it is done for all the right things and for the right purposes.
As a mayor and growing up in the city, you've seen a lot. You've seen a lot of change, and sometimes when you go away and you come back and you can see really what was going on. What was that like, living away and then coming back to the city, and now through the eyes, of course, as the mayor?
Well, it gives you a different perspective. Obviously, I've lived many places, not only in the continental United States, but outside Europe as well, and so got to learn a lot of cultural diversity, and get to see some things and different understandings of how people attack different situations, different problems. So coming back home, long story short, I looked at some wonderful opportunities that I thought Warrensville had at its forefront, really at its fingertips, if it would just reach out a little further and try to embrace those, and we kind of stuck with some basic principles of what we were trying to achieve. And we had a good run at it. And it's given me a different perspective. So I come at it a little different than most folk around here. I haven't been embedded in it, and I don't get institutionalized in my thinking, because I've just been surrounded by it all day. I have a different perspective, and so I think it's been very helpful. At least to me, it's been very helpful to bring that to the table.
Right, and part of that perspective is your collaboration, the collaborative theory, so to speak.
Well, you got to be in this, not just in this game, in this business. You got to learn to work well with others. You do, and you just can't shoulder everything by yourself 24/7. And I think there's strength in numbers, and when you can find partnerships that are strategic, that work well for everybody involved, it just strengthens your hand. And so I come at it like that, and I look at it. I come at it from a perspective that the ultimate goal is to be the best, and I continue to work hard for that every day. And every day is not a good day, but you try to make progress every day. And when you do that, you give yourself a good flying shot. No guarantees, but you give yourself a good shot.
What about the school district?
Well, the school district is a one that needs some dire attention. We have significant issues going on in the school district. I'm leading a conversation with this community right now about our school district, and trying to figure out where it is that this community wants to go. And I'm looking forward to that, because I think it is one of the most pressing needs in this city. And so, and it relates to everything from community development to economic development to child development to I mean, it just has everything all rolled up into one. And so our attention has to be turned to that. So I'm squarely focused in on that. Not that I don't have enough to do, but I'm really focusing on that, because it needs to be done.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna go forward with that, and I'm looking for Warrensville School System is going to make a transformation here, and whether they know it or not, they're going to make a transformation, and it is because it's what the people in this community want to see happen.
And you graduated from here, and that just makes your dedication all the more. And there is a slogan that you have, your equation, about the school district. And you talk about strong schools equal.
Strong communities.
That's right.
Right. Strong schools,
Yes.
strong communities. But you know, this thing, you know, sometimes we try to overcomplicate things. And you know, in sports, they got a philosophy. It's called KISS, keep it simple, stupid. You know, when things get bad, don't get overcomplicated with this thing. Just get back to the basics.
Yes,
and figure
yes.
out what you're trying to achieve. Draw down on your past experiences, your foundation to springboard from.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you got to get refocused on this thing. And so, doing that, I found it very engaging, because you can't imagine the throngs of people that are now excited that we're even attempting to do this. This isn't a field that the city, I don't think, has ever played in.
Okay.
And so we're going to play in it, and I think we're going to play in it just from the standpoint of, I think the city's goal is it holds the umbrella, and under the umbrella are the people that live in the city, the kids that stay here, the business community, the community development, all that is under this umbrella. And although we may not directly drive it, when you hold an umbrella, you got to keep everybody dry.
That's
so,
right. Yes.
So some portions of it are getting wet, so we got to shift this around with it.
You talked about being an NBA player when you graduated from high school. You had quite a long career, and you're actually a first draft pick with the Chicago Bulls. Now, what was that like?
Well, it seems like many eons ago. It does, but it was a wonderful experience. I mean, I happened to play on one of the greatest teams of all time in NBA history, and with some outstanding players.
Yes, to name them.
Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen for two, and then played a little while in Detroit with Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars and Lambeer and Rodman and that group. And I've been around. I've seen some things, and but then running Chicago was special. It was very special. It has. Can you imagine being 22, living in the city of Chicago, and,
wow.
and having this team take off, ascend to a level that most folks don't even get a chance to play in. And
Yes.
So taught you a lot. Taught you to appreciate things. Like anything else, you have your ups and downs, and that too. And so it teaches you some resiliency, and toughens you up a little bit. Skin gets a little thicker, and then start to look at the glass half full instead of half empty, even when things are going bad. And
Yes, sir.
So I'm pleased at that. I'm pleased at that. It was a wonderful experience for me.
Everything that you've done has led up to this day, and I just absolutely commend you and congratulate you as well.
Well, I appreciate it, because I think that, to be honest, I think God puts you in a place where He wants you to be, and He takes you on a trail that not that you want to go, that He wants you to go. And every bit of that way, if I look back on my life, I've been able to learn things along the way, and I've been blessed to have good people in my life that I've come across paths with that have provided me some insight when my vision gets a little myopic and not fully extended as the way it needs to be. I've been able to run across people who have had that ability to see beyond their own borders, and it's been I've been able to incorporate that into my daily vision and daily life, and I just think it's been beneficial to me, and I hope that I in turn can return that to the people that I serve today. Leading
with humility, and that's fantastic. That makes, to me, a stronger leader. But you're also a family man, and you have beautiful children.
Yeah, four beautiful daughters, and four beautiful daughters who are growing up on me fast. I've got one that is on her way as a senior in high school, on her way to college next year, and got 3 more in the pipeline, and they keep me busy, and I blinked twice because it just seems that my oldest was going to games with me.
Wow.
Just a little bit ago. I remember her on the team bus for a couple games. I remember on the team, right on the team bus with us, and now she's on her way to college. I mean, she will be on her way to college. So
That's fantastic.
I mean, it goes quick. It really does.
Yeah, so we got to make sure we stay connected.
Right.
Yeah, well, Brad, Mr. Mayor,
Audrey,
thanks
thank
again
you.
for allowing us to come into your home city.
Thank you very much. You're always welcome in the friendly city, and it's my pleasure to be on with you today. Thanks very much.
Thank you. You're welcome. Okay. And we'll be back right after this message. Nurture organic skincare, natural beauty for women of all colors and ethnicities. Get yours today at intentionalwellnessgroup.com. Intentionalwellnessgroup.com by Soul Purpose. Body, beauty, style, spirit, enriching and empowering the lives of women of every color. I'm pleased to close out this week's show with independent artist Carlton Fellows. Please enjoy.
We who believe have got to take a stand. Unite our voices and pray for the ones who see all the trouble in the land, for the ones who don't know how to pray. We who believe have got to take a stand. Unite our voices and pray for the ones who see all the trouble in the land, for the ones who don't know how to pray. We've got to pray a little harder and love a little stronger and cry out a little louder. Show people that we care. We've got to pray a little harder and love a little stronger and cry out a little louder. Show people that we care. Let's try and save the world. Let's try and save the world. Let's try and save the world. Let's try and save the world.